Welcome everybody. We are now on air. We are streaming on our platform, Segni in Onda. Thank you everybody for being today with us. I will let immediately the floor to my colleague Cristina Carlini from Living that will tell you a few technical information to better experience this meeting. And then we will start from the beginning.
Hi everyone, nice to see you all again and welcome for the new participants, if any. In the chat box you will find some technical information. Most important are that if you experience bad connection, it's best to turn off your camera. And please note that this session is recorded and streamed live on the platform of Segni. And at the link that I will gonna post in the chat box on Segni on board, Segni in Onda for Italian, there will be all the streaming and all the on-demand of the artistic program and the shows. You need to log in the platform in order to get access. It's very easy and quick. And then you will have access to the whole program to see, watch, and also have the registration of this very meeting. Also, we were using a Miro board. So you already find all the information about yesterday on the Miro board, all the links and info. I will post also in the chat box this link. For translation, you see in your Zoom menu that you have a little icon with a word. You can just click there and choose English. Se siete italiani, per la traduzione andate nel menu di Zoom che vedete in basso, c'è una piccola icona con un mondo e cliccate su giapponese perché non esiste il tasto italiano. For any comment, notes, suggestion, link you want to share and want to be posted on the Miro board, use the chat box. We will be more than happy to relaunch all your questions and suggestions to the speakers. And happy session.
Thank you, Cristina, for this welcome, and welcome to all of you. Today is, we are all together in an experiment. We are going to experience our first teen kitchen table, a digital teen kitchen table. The Teen Kitchen Table is a format that has been developed within a process of cooperation founded by Creative Europe, a 2 years project that is called Teen Ambassadors Across Europe. And it's a format of discussion that we have experienced and structured thanks to the participation of a lot, I will say, of teenagers from different countries. The countries are Italy, Norway, Belgium, and Spain, and Denmark, okay, Denmark, and UK. I mean, the teenagers are from, these are the partners country, and each partner is connected with a festival, a theater festival for young audience. So you have Italy with Mantova and Segni New Generation Festival. Then you have Denmark with the April Festival in Theater Centrum. Then you have Belgium with the Crocus Festival, and then you have Norway with Showbox. Then we have with us in this process La Caixa Forum, that is a bank foundation that is taking care of a cultural program and a theater program for students and teachers. And then we have Dialogues from UK that is taking care of the documentation process. So during this process, we have been asking ourselves which are the best tools and a process to set to engage teenagers and to help them to be more interested in theater. That is our job and what we believe is important for society. And during this process, we have been using the Teen Kitchen Table. I will not tell you more about the Teen Kitchen Table that has specific rules that the teen that are today here, the real host and leaders of this meeting, will tell you better than me. I'm just framing what we are doing. Before letting you the floor, the teens, I would love to have a kind of round of table that to see who you are. I think that will be really difficult because we don't have the table, and so we will pick up pictures. But I trust we can do it in a quick and effective way. We have together with us as guest that we have named as a kind of speaker. Because we want to create this dynamic of dialogue between the so-called adults and the so-called young adults. So we have together with us from the European offices of the European Parliament in Milan, Maurizio Molinari, that I thank for being here and for using his time to listen to the teens that will be with us and share the discussion. Ciao Maurizio, thanks for being with us.
Ciao, hi guys, hi everybody, nice being here. Thanks Cristina, thanks Segni d'Infanzia for having us here, and it's very, very, very nice to be able to talk even if it's only in an online mode to teenagers across Europe.
Then we have Bardo Benifei, that is an European parliamentary that will be with us again, listening and sharing his thoughts. And then we will have Matteo Adinolfi, that is here in the same role. And since we won't miss the word and the spirit and the presence of the artist, we also have as guest on the chair of the guest, Jetsi Batelan and Jade de Rudder, because they are the directors and author of two shows that the teen ambassadors have been watching during one of the festival that is engaged in the teen process. The festival is Crocus Festival, and Jade de Rudder, the show is I need to read it because it's complex. This show is Panic at a lot of other places beside the disco. And the show from Jetsi, it's impossible for me to tell it. It's even longer than this one. Jetsi, do you want to name the title of your show?
So in Dutch, it's Echte vrouwen joggen in regenpak, which can be translated like real women run in rain suits.
Fantastic. So in both of those shows, the topic that we will have as a topic of this discussion is somehow faced, of course, from different point of view. So this is why we invited them in the chair of the guest. But I have spoken too much, and I let the floor to the teen ambassadors. So now you are the leader. If you want to make the round of table, just take care of it. I will mute myself and listen to you how it has to be done.
Hello everyone, I'm Edward, and for this beginning part, I'm going to moderate the conversation. So first of all, today we're going to talk about identity and how identity could be linked with art and performing. We're going to say if identity is important for us when it comes to express ourselves in a context such as theater. And before starting, just like to melt down a bit, I want to ask the teens how they identify. But before this, I just want to read you the rules, because I forgot to mention this part that is very important. So, rule number 1, the room must be set out to resemble a kitchen table. Unfortunately, today we are in a Zoom call, so we are not in a place where we can recreate this environment. So yes, it's not my fault. There has to be food on the kitchen table, so you are able, don't be bothered, you can eat whatever you want. So if you want to eat, you can eat. It is an informal conversation, so you can feel free to do whatever you want. The teenagers are the experts and the adults are the audience, are the students. So I invite all the adults to turn off the cameras. Thank you. And when you want to speak, you can turn on your camera and go to the participants and click yes or no, so I can see if you want to speak or if you agree or disagree. I wish everything is clear. Hope so.
There are still some adults not with the camera on, but I trust that we can switch it off so that we can see only you, the teens on the screen.
Perfect. And it is important that the audience gets involved. The discussion is focused on opinions of teenagers, so adults should keep quiet and raise their hands if you want to talk. And you can raise your hand with the tool in the participant area. And opinions should be supported by experiences or at least examples. All right. I read the rules. Right now, I repeat that the topic is identity, and I want to ask my friends how they identify, and just so you can know us, and if they are able to express themselves in their countries, in their environments, etc., etc. I'll start, so I will break the ice. So I'm Edward, I'm from Italy. I identify as a male, and I was shaped, my life is shaped by theater, and the person that I am today is thanked by the theater. So yes, this is my introduction. If I pass the ball to Maureen, that will moderate the discussion for today.
Hello, I'm Maureen. I would identify myself as a woman, a girl, and a student, but also as a person who's living in Belgium and Europe. I think the next one for identifying, Ingrid, can you do it?
What?
Yeah, I identify myself as also a girl and a student in in 8th grade. I don't really know how to say it. Yeah. And shall I just pass it
Sure,
to the
you
next
can
one?
pass it on. Yeah.
Okay. So Alicia. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Alessia. I identify as European. I'm half Italian, half Spanish, and I'm a student. I will pass the Noemi.
Hi everyone, I'm Noemi. I identify myself as a student and as an Italian, but also as European, and I identify myself also as an actress wannabe. So I'm very excited to be here, and I pass the ball to Lien Ruzen, I think.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lee. I identify as a female and a student because I'm studying to be primary teacher. I pass the ball to Martina.
Hi everyone, I'm Martina. I identify myself as a student, as a woman, and as you were saying right, as a European citizen. And I pass the ball to... I can't see anybody. Marie? Can you help me?
I think Franco didn't.
Yeah, okay, Franco, yes, I saw you now.
Hi, I'm Franco. I identify myself as an Italian, as a student, and a footballer in the free time. But unfortunately, in this situation, I cannot play anymore. I hope I can return as soon as possible. And I want to pass to Fulvio. Where is Fulvio?
Okay, my name is Fulvio. I am Italian. I identify myself as male. I played basketball, but now I can't because of the COVID. And I pass the ball to Anna.
Hey, my connection is a bit, sorry, my connection is a bit bad, so I'm just turning off the camera. Oh, we're two Annas. Oh, nice.
Sorry.
Italian Anna, go first. I'll turn off my video.
Okay. Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm an Italian student. In the free times, I am running and having a... So, Norwegian, Anna, you can go next.
Nice. My name is Anna, and I identify as a citizen of Europe and as a woman. I said it already, but my connection is really bad, so my camera is gonna be off a lot, but I'm here and listening to all of you. So I don't know all of the teenagers that are here now. I don't know who we've missed. Is there anyone who hasn't introduced themselves? If not, then I
It's
guess.
all right. We can start.
Yeah.
So we all said as who or what we identify. Were there moments in your life you were not able to express your identity? And yeah, which moments? So whoever wants to take this one.
Ingrid, you can go.
Yeah. I think maybe when I was a little younger, it's difficult to find out who you are and like who express yourself and so. But I think when you see other people and all older people often like being themselves, it's much easier. And then I think I have like got now when I'm older, it's easier. Yeah.
I will talk. So I don't really know how I identify because I was born in Romania, but my parents are not Romanian, and I came to Italy when I was 3 years old. So it is a bit confusing, my origins and everything. So I'll say that I don't know if what is my country. I know that I'm European and I identify as European. And I feel free to express myself in this country, not every time, not in every context, but I think I'm able to express myself. When you grow up and you get confident, it's easier to be who you are and what you want. And I think that very important tool for me, it was theater. So yes, then we're going to connect to this point, but yes, nothing.
Is there anyone else who had an experience with like expressing their identity or having trouble expressing their identity? Alessia?
Yeah, I will say that I'm really free to express myself, but lately, as we grow, we become like I've become proud of expressing myself. I've always been able to, but I'm proud of who I am.
Noemi?
Yeah, I can totally relate with Edward and what he says about theater, because I've met theater when I was younger, and it was that moment where you discover yourself and who you are, and theater really, really helped me.
Are there other people who ever experienced such an influence from performing arts on their identity?
Is that
Even
question
from
open to adults also?
even
Or
from the
just...
audience, yes, you can talk. If you want to talk, just go and raise your hand from the participant bar that you have below.
Raising my hand. Can I say something, or are we? Yeah.
Yes, of course.
No, I think just like more in general, I've always like been a believer that performing arts can be a really powerful tool in that way. And like for me growing up, we talked about this yesterday in the preparation, that sometimes you will see things that are so kind of genuine and can give you so much emotion that it puts what I would call like a dent into your identity, some kind of mark that just stays with you. And not all performing arts does it, and I guess that's very subjective, but I have experienced it, and it's always really nice. And I think that performing arts is special in that way. Like you have a lot of things influencing your identity, but seeing something live, that live performance, that live experience, can be really powerful.
And what type of performing arts was it that put the dent in your identity, Anna?
Dent in my identity. No, I don't. I mean different performances while growing up, and of course, like in this project, we've seen some amazing shows, and it can differ so much. Like the topic, it doesn't have to be like a very emotional, specific topic. I mean, we have the artist here from that performance that we saw in Belgium, the Real Women Only run in raincoats or something like that. I mean, that's also like a piece of art that just, I don't know, it just sends out this feeling. And I think that's special. So that would be an example of a performance that, yeah, that touches you.
Yeah, if I can answer to this question too, I just want to say that this summer, because we have to talk about our experiences, this summer I went to a festival that is kind of really queer, and I saw myself in a lot of shows, and a lot of shows were about identity. It was a really beautiful moment to actually realize who you are and what you are and how you can express yourself. And that experience really put a dent on my identity. And yes, and this is my answer here.
Edward, can you also like identify specific moments in those shows that had the most influence on you?
Yes, of course. So I'm not focusing on the shows because there were a lot, but the thing is that was important for me was actually the fact that in every show, it wasn't like I'm representing you because you're a teenager on the stage. It was just I express myself through art, so you can watch and maybe feel represented. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing for the audience and for the young adults, such as me and such as you, because when you see yourself represented in a good way, that could be a really life-changing and eye-opening thing for your life, because that moment in my life was really life changing because I realized some things and I grew. So yes, and just to connect with what Anna said, she spoke about Jets's show that we saw in Belgium. I really liked that one because in some parts it seemed like the main character was trying to destroy the identities of the other characters, but their identity was so big that stayed there. And that was a beautiful show. It is a highlight in my life, that show. So this is the example that tells me that performing arts are a good way to express something and to shape identities and to make good adults, great thinking adults. So yes.
Is there someone who never experienced such a moment while watching performing arts?
And we want you from the audience to speak too. So if you want to say something, don't be bothered. I just invite you. So yes. It's okay. So I'm going to throw you a question for the audience too. So you have to answer. I just want to ask you, I will ask to the teens too, but especially to the audience, do you think that theater is a good tool for shaping an identity? Yes, Ingrid, you can speak. And Christina, you too.
Okay, because I think that we can't see who's raising the hand because we are a lot. So we need to pay attention and to that. Ingrid.
Yeah, I think theater is a good, like, I don't know, but good to evolve your identity, because it's like, it's a way to like see people and like get to understand some. When you shall understand yourself, it's important to like see other people and then see how they are acting or something, yeah, or like in that way. And when I see theater, I always try to find like the person I can identify with me, and that gets to when that person does something, I also think about like, can I do that or would I do that? And it's a way to like evolve in, yeah.
Brando, you would like to speak?
Yes, can you turn my video on? You blocked it. Hi. Hi, my name is Brando Benifei. I'm a member of the European Parliament. I was invited to participate in this debate first of all, thank you for this occasion, and very interesting what you have been saying about identity. I've been listening to the discussion until now. And on the question, I can tell you my opinion. I think the issue of identity and theater is very interesting, and it makes sense to consider this connection, because when you do theater, I did a little when I was at high school, and when you see it, you can experience people with different identities that change them and become someone else. And in this way, I think you can understand how identities can be compatible, can be connected, and are also we can say more than one is in each person. And I think the way theater transforms the identity, at least on a stage, makes it easier for everyone, both the audience and the actors, to think about it, to understand more about this identity issue that is so crucial. Let me conclude on this, so crucial in our modern world. If you see how much is happening around the world on the issue of identity, with social movements, with the discussions about the being together, and also the conflicts of the various identities that are everywhere around us. And so I think theater can really, yes, be, like you were suggesting, a form of art that can make it easier to reflect and work on each person's identity. That's it from my side.
Anna, you would like to react?
Yeah, I think that was very nicely put. And we talked about that in preparation as well when we talked about our identities, how identity in a way is fluid and changes all the time. And I think it's very interesting what you say, that perspective of like performing arts doesn't need necessarily to kind of take you from this identity to that identity, but more that it can show you that it all kind of changes. And I think, I mean, performing arts is such a different way of communicating than we do in daily life. It's such a different space. And I think also often theater has had this kind of like backbone of a bit of challenging stereotypes and challenging the society that exists in the status quo. And that's why it can be so refreshing for young people, because young people also often feel that way. For young adults, that we want to be something different. We want to challenge what already exists. We want to make the place that we are in better. So that kind of progression is, yeah, it's refreshing.
Naya, you want to speak as well? You're on mute still, Naya.
Unmute. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. I was thinking about, inspired from your talk, that for me, I tell myself about myself. I feel that identity is man-made. It's something that we have decided on to sort of to define ourselves, to say, I am like this. But sometimes I feel it's important to challenge the identity, to say, because if you still say, I'm like this, I'm not a person who will do that, but I could be, you know. So I think that for me, theater and performance art is a way to also challenging the idea of my own identity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do
because
agree with you. I do
yeah,
agree
so
with you
also
that
because, and I think that performance art is a very powerful tool because it's also a media that tells stories. It's like society's identity in a sense. That
yes,
was it.
I do agree with you, and I agree with the fact that we put labels on everything, and identity is only who we are as human beings. And Svetlana, you can speak. I pass you the ball. I see that you want to speak.
Ciao, ciao a tutti. I just want to add to Naya's opinion. That is something that is very exciting for me as an actress in my professional life, is that during the years of doing theater, especially for children, I'm very focused on that field. I realized how I changed myself in many levels, on many levels. And it is so interesting to see how you, in the process of getting older, you realize how different levels there are in one's personality, and identity is something that for me it is always upgrading in every new project or new account or new meeting a new person, or in professional sense, in, for example, at this time when so much change is going on. So this is the great chance to ask ourselves what we want and who we are and what we want to be, who we want to be. And I think that this is always the process of changing, as art is something that always give you new possibilities and challenges.
Thank you, Svetlana. I ask you, but I ask to everybody and to all the audience, do you think that identity grows? And so when does it grow? And how does it grow? Yes, Ingrid, you can speak.
I think your identity grows like when you get a new input and a new view of things. So, for example, when I'm in school and I get a new like view of when my teachers tell me something about anything, it can be all from history to yeah, math or something. I get a new view of things, and that makes my identity grow. And I think that it has much to do when you're younger, because then you shall learn more, because you're in a new world, like in a way, and are going to like find yourself.
Lynn, yes?
Yeah, I also think your identity can grow in experience you experience in your life. Like if you experience something really heavy, it can make you a stronger person or anything, and your personality is also part of your identity. So I think experiences in life can also change your identity a bit.
Yeah, if I can talk, I agree with you all, and I think yes, that identity could change and could evolve because because of experience, because of what you live and what you see and with who you talk. And when we talk about identity, I think it's a really wide topic. We can speak about religion, we can speak about ethical, we can speak about economical identity, we can speak about like everything. We can speak about European identity. And so identity grows with us, and it is very wide. It could be something or it could be nothing, but it actually, who we are, it reflects on how we act, how we talk, what we think and what we do. So yes, and linking this part of my conversation with theater, I just want to say that we are doing this Teen Kitchen table, and um, the main, I don't know how to say it, but our main task is to engage team to theaters and to show that to the operators, to people that found, to the artists, that we are really that we want theater. Today, theater is in real danger, and I think that is, as I said before, really important when it comes to identity. And so, yes, do you want to say something else?
I would like to add on that. I don't only think that we want theater from from the teen community, but also that we need theater as young adults all over the world. I think it's such an important thing to have arts and culture in like brought to us to to give some flow to forming our identity, and it's like a soft warm hug to shape our identity. I feel it makes things more easier to learn and to transform ourselves into with performing arts and arts in general. I don't know if anyone disagree with what I say or Ingrid, not yes. Um, Ingrid already spoke that she thought it was important for her that she could recognize herself on the stage, on the performing stage. Maybe we can go on and ask the question what the real importance is for everyone of stage representation.
Could I speak?
Yes, sure, Andrea.
I think we should also talk about the lack of a representation in theater, but not only in media in general, because many times you hear about like a theater play that talks about maybe gay rights, and it was written by cis hetero men, and so I think we should also talk about the representation not only in the play but amongst the creators of the play, which is always lacking in my opinion. So I think that's a topic that should be discussed a little bit more in the world in general, because many times some problems are discussed in theater, but not only in theater, also on social media or TV series, for example. And they talk about it, but from the point of view of someone who doesn't really get it because they don't live that life.
Yeah, is someone in the audience that want to answer to this? Because I think it's a really good answer, and we in the preparation we spoke about it, and we spoke about the misrepresentation that is in theater when it comes to shows that are talking about young adults, and that we would like to see a lot of teens on actual stages, and it is kind of the same but with age range. So if you are from the audience and if you are an operator, an actress, or a director, and you speak about teen or teen related subjects, do you want to say something? Do you think that using actors that are not teens, it is good, or do you agree or do you disagree? If you want to answer, you can please talk. We will love to hear you, because when the conversation is only between us, it's kind of dead, but if you talk, it's alive, so we would like to hear you. Hi, yes, you can speak.
Hi. I spoke as a spectator, actually. I've seen a couple of shows when some teenager or young generation problem is staged, but with adult actors. And it felt so strange. It totally didn't get the point. I felt that something was really missing. And now that I can hear you telling us things, it's exactly that. You're real and you are really good in expressing your talks and your opinions. So, of course, if someone wants to stage something about you, in the professional sector, we always think and discuss about diversity and inclusion, speaking about people with disability or colored people, all the misrepresentation that we have, but also probably speaking about you without you is a problem of inclusion.
Yeah, it's like doing a show on dark-skinned people without dark-skinned people with blackface, and it's like cultural appropriation. So it is a wrong thing. Not if you want to do a show about teenagers, you have to first of all have a research and know what really teenagers are doing. I've seen this show where they were playing the role of the teenagers, and they were using slang that is old as slang. So it wasn't true. It wasn't true for me, but it wasn't true for any kind of teenager. And that was, I think, a goal that wasn't achieved. So yes. Thank you, Christina.
Can I talk?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So I think teenagers are represented very childish in most theater pieces about teenagers, and that's not fun to watch if you're a teenager, because if you're a teenager you think, oh, I'm an adult, and if you're so represented so childish, everyone, yeah, it just not connect with teenagers then.
Naya, you can talk.
Hello again. Yeah, I think also that, like, it's awful to see old people playing teenagers, but I don't think it's necessary, even because I've seen a lot of shows now with teens because I've been in this project, and it was been one of the things that have been interesting to me is to, for example, we watched the performance called A Dollhouse by Ibsen, the Norwegian playwright. It was in a Danish theater, and they made the play in a very old-fashioned way with some very professional actors. And when we had afterwards an after talk with the actors, one of the actors, he asked the young people, could you identify, could you see yourself in this play? because this is what he do. It was very obvious that he thinks my art is to make people see themselves, and all of the teens, they were just like, no, not at all. But never mind, that's not interesting. What's interesting to us is the way you played this. This was real art. This was really good acting. And to see the relations between people, that was really interesting to us, because it made me think about things like all this movement about Me Too, for instance. I wonder what my grandmother thinks about it. Things like that. So it gave them a lot of things to think about, but without having them identify with a person on stage. And I found that very interesting, because I felt like this was true for a lot of shows that we saw, that the teens were like, it's not always so interesting to see yourself on stage, to I don't know if you feel that way, but well, maybe you can tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, it's not always important to see yourself on stage, because if you only see yourself on stage, what is the point of going to theater, because you're not learning anything new? It is important, though. It is not that important. But I think that, yeah, as you said, there are a lot of things that are relevant. But I really like to go to the theater and to say, yes, this could be kind of life-changing. I don't think it's necessary for shows to have a necessity, but if it is life-changing, it's, I think, a goal achieved. Svetlana, you can speak.
They don't allow me to open my video. Doesn't matter. I will just listen to me. It's okay with me, because I can't go. Just a second. Okay, so something's going on. Okay, here I am. What is interesting for me is I like that you opened this topic, because 2 years ago we made a project. I live in Croatia and work in Croatia, just to know for everybody. Here we made a performance about underage pregnancy. And what we did, and I'm very proud of it, is that we read first draft of the text to the 3rd grade of secondary school. It's like, I don't know, 16, 17 years of age people. And then they gave us inputs on text, what you said, Edward, about some words and language that you use, and about some other things in the story. So we took that in mind, and then continue working. What is interesting is that when we played the performance, it is obvious that they can identify with the story and with the people on stage, no matter they are not teenagers, but they feel that those people and language they use, it's their language. So I think that, as you said, it's not important to always to involve teenagers on stage, because there are so many different stories and approaches, whatever. But it's great if artists, professionals, theater professionals, have in mind that they should go into the project if they want to communicate with teenage audience, to involve them in the process. And I think that it is the great experience for everyone. And what is interesting is that my colleague, she is 27, and always after the performance, some people in the audience ask her if she's really pregnant, or if they can't imagine that she's 27, you know. And that's great when when the audience is involved in the process as well. And I think that the theater, contemporary theater, is now at one stage where teenage audience and teenagers can feel that they are involved in the process. And I see that is the point of the theater, to make a good communication. And in Croatia, just to tell one thing, only few years now, it is it is generally felt that we have a big responsibility to work for teenage audience, and this is something very important because sometimes theaters expect people in teenage years to watch lots of content, theater performances, but without any correspondence to their lives and their topics that they want to discuss. So I think it's a good combination of invite teenage young actors on the stage, but also involve a wider audience of your age into the process of making theater performances.
Anna, you can talk, then we are going to pass the ball to Carol that wants to speak. So yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment further on what Svetlana was talking about, just because I think we've discussed this so many times earlier in teen, but this, that as young adults, and especially as like young teenagers, because I mean, some of us are now 18, 19, so we're kind of heading into different part of the teenage life, but those like early stages when you're 13, 12, 11, it's not so much about needing like a specific box that's called teenage emotions. Please put teenage emotions on stage. More that we as teenagers are actually capable of grasping quite big topics, and we want to hear about them, and we're kind of curious to know about, you know, all the like corners of life. And like when I've had experiences where I felt like, ugh, this teenage performance completely like misses what's happening, it's because I felt that I as a teenager am not being taken seriously, that this has been made for me as if I can't understand something bigger, or I can't, like, that they haven't gone into enough depth. So yeah, I just want to say that I think as a teenager, at least, I have missed most seeing like real human emotion on stage, and not something that's been like polished for some teenage audience.
Yeah, I will say something very, very briefly, then I'm going to pass the ball to Carol. I just want to say that our main task is to engage a lot of teenagers into theater, but teenagers go to theater if they relate with what they watch. I go to the theater because I like going to the theater, because I'm used to it, because I watch a lot of shows right now. No, because the theaters in Italy are in lockdown. But if I go to the theater, is because I want to relate with something. If I don't go to the theater usually, I just want to relate to, like, to go ahead and watch a lot of theater. Because if you go to the theater and then watch something that is about you but it doesn't represent you, you are not going anymore to the theater. But if you see something that is really eye-opening and eye-changing, that pushes you, and you go out and you go and watch a lot of theater and a lot of shows. I pass finally the ball to Carol. You can speak. Thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde. Thank you for that space. That is very interesting. Anna, thank you for saying what you just said. I totally agree with you. I'm an actor, an old actor, and I'm also an artistic director. So I do a lot of productions. My company, Théâtre du Gros Mécano, is in Quebec City, in Canada, and it exists since 44 years. I'm not the founder of that, but I'm an actor, and I became director, and I'm writing also. So we're doing a lot of things artistic, in theater mostly, and for young audiences, all ages. And what Anna just said is my first preoccupation before getting into the production. Is what we have to say with the story we were telling, with the show we want to create. What do we want to say with that? And very often the authors, the ones that write the plays, they want to write for children. They want to write for teenagers. They want to, and what I tell them is don't do that. Just write what you want to write. Just tell what you want to tell. Just give us the feeling that you want to share with us in your text, and then we'll see if it's interesting. The kids, the teenagers, the adults, they will tell us how it reaches them, and then we'll see. We'll get to know the show. So in the process, the teenagers, the children, the adults are always involved, so that we want to know how they feel, what we're doing, and we want to be honest in how we're going to deliver this and how we're going to make a show with that, and we make sure that they are always in the process. That's very, very important. And once we get to the production, because sometimes, of course, there is teenagers characters in different shows. There may be also kids. When it comes to kids, younger, it's harder because how can you get a child on the stage to go on tour with all what we're doing professionally? It means a lot for the life of this kid or this teenager, and so it's a problem. So we would like to have more teenagers in our shows, but it's not always possible. Just technically, it's not always possible. So we try to work with artists, professional actors that are very close to this age most of the time, and that are still in the mood of teenagers, are very close to that, like not playing anything, just being on stage, this emotionally being in the same way they were when they were teenagers. I can assure you one thing, even if I'm 55 right now, I could play a good teenager sometimes, and I tell you how. Just when I think about my own time of life when I was teenager, it's not that far in my mind, in my heart. And when I just tell stories that were about my identity or what I lived when I was at this age, teenager comes out instantly. It's not very far. So I think it's the more important for me is the feeling, is what you have to say it honestly, and how you deliver it with your heart. And I think we don't need that much that it's absolutely a teenager that is on the stage, more than the spirit of the teenagers, more than the spirit of what you feel in that story. I think yeah, that's the most important thing for me. And because technically it's very hard to use teenagers or younger kids to play on our shows. I've seen many shows that were doing that, and it's absolutely great. It's really, you remember these shows, but it's not very often that we can do that as producers. It's very complicated. And so when we have to, most of the time we do it with professional actors that are used to play, that have experience of life and experience of on the stage, and that also have been teenagers. And what we work with these actors is the feeling, the spirit of it, and the honestly to deliver the text or the show that we have to deliver. I'm very glad that you talked about that, like teenagers on stage. If it's not a teenager on stage, then it's not interesting to you all. It's my question.
Can I speak just to that?
Yes.
I think, I can't speak for everyone, but I definitely, when I kind of think about what I miss on stage, of course, it's amazing when teenagers get involved, and some productions do it. I mean, it's nice, but often then I feel, because it's not professionals, so then it becomes a different thing. It becomes a work in progress, or kind of a preparation to maybe a bigger production, and that's lovely. I mean, that's super nice. But it's kind of, as I said, it's more about not mystifying this whole group of people in like the age span from 10 to 20, it's not a mystery what we feel. And I mean, we want to be exposed to things. So we want adult actors, professionals that know how to deliver a good story, that deliver it honestly, and that do that pre-production work where they kind of go back into the spirit of it, without it becoming cliche in a way. I guess that's for me. So it's not for me as much as missing teenagers on stage, more maybe missing honest adults on the stage sometimes. Yeah.
I didn't raise my hand, but should I speak? No, I have nothing precisely to say, and since I speak all the dialogues, I don't want to to be too much in the communication. But thanks for this honest adults. It's a lot of it's a lot. Thanks for honest adults on stage. I mean, I don't have anything to add, but I want to keep this definition there, and I think it's a kind of source definition that we can look at and let it there and reflect on that. Honest adults on stage. Thank you. I see that someone else wants to speak. I let the floor.
Andreas, you can speak. Okay, don't worry. Okay, I can share an experience. So
okay.
Perfect.
I personally think it is it can be everything. It is nice to work on stage together with young people for young audience, like that you can have influences from older to younger to mid-age people. I personally danced a lot of times a young hip hop guy, and from a certain age I put myself in the corner and forbid myself to do that anymore. But it's technically possible. It looks a little bit strange, and why not? But personally, I think everything is possible. In Holland, we have some youth groups, named Docs. They throw a bunch of young people on stage. There's a lot of beer, a lot of chaos, a lot of benzene, diesel. There's a lot of action, and they are exploring their creativity and have an audience and create an audience themselves. Sometimes I visit the performances and I'm the outsider, and I think it's good because, yeah, they get the platform to show their own audience, to create their own audience, and I think it's a good thing. Christina, as a festival director, invite young people to show their young and fresh or intimate pieces in the festival. I think that's another thing to think about, to give a frame within a festival for young audience, young people, which are not supposed to be perfect, which are not supposed to be, how do you call when an apple is you can eat an apple which is not ripe? No, which is not the time to present, which is maybe a little bit rough. I think everything is possible. It's nice to see in a way to develop own identity.
Thank you very much. I just want to share an experience that I had with honest adults. This year, I had the opportunity to work with Noemi and Alessia, that are two other teams that are here with us today. I had the possibility with them to work with a company as co-producers. I don't know how to say it because it wasn't really a production. I had the possibility to work in contact with the actors and directors that were building this performance site specific. And it was a really beautiful moment because I have written a lot of stuff that it was used for the actual performance, and I really felt good to have something to do something for a performance and to express myself. And the company is Ex Voto Teatro, and they gave me the possibility to express myself as I wanted without being politically correct or without saying stuff that I didn't want to. So it was really beautiful, and this is just one experience that I want to share. Also, this speaking and moderating this conversation is actually a possibility for me and for you, young adults, to speak with adults that we don't know, but to also to let our voice be heard by, I don't know, politician, because we have politicians inside of the call today, and to, I don't know, bigger people than us. Yes, Anna, you can say.
No, I just wanted to say, since we're sharing experiences in this kind of sense, I had last year I worked with the Coda Dance Festival in Oslo on this kind of like special mini board that was set up before the year before the festival with some adults and then some young people my age then to kind of tap into the programming of the festival and decide on some shows as well. And I remember this experience of how kind of, I mean, we all agreed that the pieces were great, but we wouldn't agree on what age it was suitable for. And I think that might be because for me as a young person, I feel that kind of hunger that, oh, I would love to be exposed to this. I'm so curious about this. And I know that people my age are super curious about this topic as well. And then the adults would kind of say, okay, but we've lived through this and we've lived longer than you, and we're not maybe as curious, and we're more worried about it being not appropriate content. But I think it's interesting to have a dynamic and to include young people in that way. I mean, that was amazing to kind of have even just like a tiny part in the process so that they can hear a young voice saying, okay, no, but that is interesting. We want that as young people. We want to see that on stage. So yeah.
Maureen, do you want to say something?
I agree with Anna, and I also think that there are a lot, if I speak for myself, a lot of young people who want to have a say, be involved in these things, especially when it's about young people. And it's so nice to get those opportunities, but not only for people who are already interested in theater or performing arts, but also for people who never had the chance to get closer to performing arts, because it's a big step to get yourself into culture and be really like inspired and formed by performing arts and culture. Yes, Anna?
Yeah, I see that there's someone else who's going to speak. I just quickly added to what you were saying, that the difficult step into culture, especially like with the festival as well. I know you talked about earlier, it's so important, if it's possible, for festivals and for art in general to kind of make it in Norwegian you say, like, you put, I don't know how to explain this in English, like put the bar lower so that everyone feels that they can come. Doesn't and then, you know, like student prices and all like the practical stuff, it was one thing, but like making it accessible for everyone, not making it something that's up high elite only for those who have been taken to the theater from they were kids, but really for everyone. Yeah, I see that there's someone else who's going to speak. So
Maurizio, you can speak.
Hi. Interesting listen to all speaking because it's really hard to try and convey this kind of informal and innovative type of event to turn it on into an online form. So I gather it's really difficult, but you are
Oh, we lost the connection with Maurizio. Later, if he wants to reconnect, so we will actually know what he wanted to say. But right now, I think that we are going round and round. I just want to ask all our audience to say one thing, to turn on the cameras. If please turn on your cameras, and to everybody. And I ask everybody if you, of course, feel confident, but you have to feel confident. I ask everybody to say, I identify as, and then put a word or a phrase or whatever. So yes, thank you. Turn on the cameras.
How do you want to do this? Like, in what order? We're 47 participants.
Maybe we can use the same strategy that you used, like I speak and I say, and I pass the ball to, so that I can choose someone in the mosaic. What you have done was perfect. So I will start. I see that no one is going. So I'm Cristina, and I identify myself as a curious fighter. And I pass the ball to Carol, my friend Carol from Quebec. So happy to see you.
Yeah. Well, my name is Carol Castista, and I identify myself as a passionate fighter, I would say. Yeah, and with no age at all. Yeah, I think that would be good, depending on the temperature.
Who do you pass the ball to, Carol?
To Tonio.
Tonio, the microphone. Hey, come on, let's learn from
Sorry. Okay, I'm Tonio. Identify myself as a dreamer in a nightmare society. I think in that moment. Okay, I pass the ball to Noemi. No, today some adults. Okay, to Jessica. Sorry.
Hello, I am Jessica. And if I have to say something about myself, person and cosmopolitan, that's why I'm suffering very much in this period. I pass the ball to Andrea Avona.
Hi, I'm Andrea, and I identify as a person who's upset about the state of the planet. And I pass the ball to Diana.
Hi, I'm Diana, and I identify myself as an outgoing and also a really curious student. And in this period, I'm suffering a little bit because of this situation and nothing. I pass the ball to Alessandra.
Hi, I'm Alessandra. I'm sorry if you can't see me, but I have problems with my camera. I identify as a girl, and as you guys, I'm worried about this situation, and that's it. I pass the ball to, I don't know, anyone who wants to speak. Fulvio?
Hi, I'm Fulvio. I identify myself as a confused person, and I pass the ball to Franco.
Fulvio passed it to me, I suppose. I couldn't hear. I think so, yeah. And yeah, I'm Franco. I identify myself as a man, a student, and as a curious person and a positive one. I pass the ball to, let's see, Alessia.
I'm Alessia, and I identify myself as a world citizen. I pass the ball to
Alessia, who do you pass the ball to? We didn't hear it yet.
Oh, okay. I pass the ball to Giovanna.
Io sono un'anziana viaggiatrice e mi piace definirmi come mi ha definito un mio amico, una tedesca col cuore del sud. Grazie. Passo la parola a Tonio, perché ridi? Scusate, passo la parola, vado avanti. Clara Matas.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to see you all. Some of you we've met in live, which is kind of very exclusive at this moment. I'm a part of the team project, and I'm sad that it's going to an end, but I have the feeling that we'll kind of find a way to transform it and to make it extend and longer. I want to kind of underline the something someone spoke about. I don't remember who it was, sorry, about the role of the theater. Especially because they said, it was a girl, I say like the theater is like a warm hug for us, and that helps us with with our identity. And when you've been in touch with the theater, then you have this warm hug that comes with you. And then at the same time, she was speaking about the theater in extinction, or something like this, and that was very touching for me as well. So I want to keep these two things, that even if the theater is kind of almost disappearing, hopefully not, at least live theater, I would like to keep this warm hug for me in a private way, and for all of us to keep going. That's it.
Who do you pass the ball to?
Ball to Chris, if he is around.
Yes, so I identify myself as a theatre maker with lots of different identities in different contexts, which is a bit of an excuse to not give an answer in some ways. But I mean, I think I'm like Clara. I'm going to, as well as saying what I identify with, if I may just quickly take the opportunity, as I haven't spoken yet, just to reflect on all the things I've been hearing from everybody else. And I think the reason why I give that answer, that I have many different identities in many different contexts, is it's been very interesting to hear people talk about the different types and different parts of their identity and how all of those things fit together. And so that's been my sort of big reflection from today, is how all of these different aspects cross over and merge together and are sometimes one thing and are sometimes many things. And that's just an interesting reflection I've picked up today. Anyway, I'm going to pass the ball on to Norwegian Anna.
Okay, I mean, I did the short introduction in the beginning, but I still identify as a European citizen and as a female and as a student and a musician and yeah, a lover of arts and all of this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pass the ball to there's many of you. Martina, maybe?
Me?
Yeah, you.
As you, I did the introduction before, and I am a teen, so I identify myself as that, and I am a student, I'm a woman, and yeah, that, the same as before. So, I know that Eddie want to say something about the highlights of the project.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you turn on your mic? Sounds like you're in an airplane. Thank you. So, does somebody want to speak or say how they identify? Because if not, I can speak and then I will pass the ball to Jetse and to the people from the parliament so we can close the meeting for today. Thank you. I just want to speak about the team project, because with this thinking tree table, we came to an end of the 4 years of this project, and of the 2 years that I'm part of this project. Is kind of sad because it gave me the opportunity, and it gave us the opportunity to travel and to discover and to know a lot of people. I have been able to grow, and my identity grew thanks by this project. And my European identity actually grew, because when I thought about Europe, I didn't know what to say, and it wasn't the first thing that I had in my mind. But the team project actually helped me to identify more as European. I'm really thankful for this project, and I'm really thankful for this format that we are using right now, because before I couldn't actually speak in really this good in public. I don't think I speak good in public, but I think it helped me just to have an opinion and to have a critical mind. So yes, I will throw the ball to Jetse and then to the European Parliament. Thank you very much. Nothing.
Can I just quickly add?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I could have done it when I had my identity slot, but I didn't, and I'm gonna have to do it now. No, just yeah, the 4 years are coming to an end, and I think even though with Corona and everything closing down now, I think it should continue. I mean, if the project doesn't continue, this kind of empowerment of young voices and empowerment of critical thinking and this kind of space to talk about performing arts and the power that it has, it's just so important. And to find ways to kind of give it more life, let more people in, and make performing arts more accessible. I just hope that that's something that continues, and I know that I will want to try to manifest that further on, because it's been an amazing experience. And, you know, with new teenagers every year, of course, and all these different performances in different cities and different festivals. Yeah, I'm also really thankful, and it's sad that it's coming to an end. So that was nicely said, Edward. Yeah. Okay, passing the ball.
Is it me? Don't know so much what to say, so I identify as a human being who used to have red hair, but it's getting blonde, and I'm behind the computer. But yeah. Should I pass the ball, or should I? I don't know what to do now.
Yes, you can pass the ball to whoever you want, but to Maurizio Molinari. And yes.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, more or less.
I assume, okay, that's because I was trying to say and then I got it's amazing how you are managing to readapt this informal and innovative format to an online forum, which is not to be taken for granted. It's very difficult to spark the same level of energy of interaction that would have been there if the kitchen table had been a real kitchen table, so with people around the table. I'm really, really glad that a lot of people identify themselves, because it means that at a certain point, Europe is not only the entity that's asking us to do things, that's asking our governments to do things, but it's also a sort of platform of values. I've heard people speaking from outside the European Union, Norway, etc., which means that even being European and belonging to Europe is more than being a member of the European Union. It's very important for me. I'm sorry I couldn't, I joined you a little bit late and I couldn't speak at the beginning, but if I have to tell you the first time that I felt European, it was when I was a teenager, like so you, and I was traveling abroad, learning foreign languages, meeting people from all across Europe and the world, in fact. And then I really was shaped, and now I kind of identify myself and only when we speak of full and it enables me to view a lot of the differences we have. We open towards other cultures and other individuals. I think this is big hopefully to that are participating. I would like to close by saying I'm nothing like this. I'm just a former teenager, as you are, and I hope in the next sessions of Segni di Infanzia we can really meet, because nothing can compare to meeting and shaking hands, hugging each other, and really getting to know each other with, I don't know, a pint of beer or a glass of wine or whatever food or beverage best represents your identity. So I'm really sorry we had to do this online. It's nobody's fault, but thanks for having us as European Parliament on board. It was a pleasure, regardless of all tech issues and regardless of the fact that we had to only meet online.
Thank you, Maurizio, and thank you, everybody. I don't know if you have something to add, Edward, but it looks like that was a kind of conclusion.
Yeah, this was the conclusion. Yes, I don't have nothing to add. If you have something to add, I don't know, but I don't have nothing.
Okay, so I'll let the floor to my colleague Christina that will give you the information for the next meeting. And I want, as director of the festival and project leader of the team project, I want to thank you everybody, because this was a nice, really nice and touching meeting. We haven't had any knowledge or discovered anything new, but I think that we have experienced something together, and it has been reinforcing my wish of going forward to work on this teen project and teen process. And it has confirmed that it's always important and nice to preserve a time of listening to our spectators, because in that case you are kind of spectators, and to ask ourselves and challenge ourselves in our work, taking a brief to listen. So thank you. Thanks, Christina, and see you in the next meeting that is at 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Christina. I actually were very surprised because really you were amazing. It was an amazing conversation. It was amazing to hear your voices. And I really feel that the voice of this new generation is what we really, really need now. And I hope that we can all the people present here today will make an effort to make your voice hearable and present in your future and in your next future, like tomorrow. So I will just share a little bit my screen just to let you see what I was working on. That's our conversation of today. And I put in the center, I identify myself as European, because really I think it's something beautiful that was said and that we need the most. And all this conversation as the result of the other conversation, you will find it on the Miro board. I will post the link again in the chat box. I want just to remember you that the program of today, artistic program, is going on the platform. So on segninonda.org, you will have the live program of today and also the on-demand program. We're waiting for you here at 7 p.m. for the Food for Talks moment, still with the teens, oh yeah, and tomorrow for our last day of long conversation spot, and especially tomorrow at 2 in this same spot, we will have a conversation about all the challenging topics that we want to be on stage and that can change our view and our identity. So thank you again. Thank you for being present today, and thank you for your time and your willing for share. Ciao.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.